Now, with all that said, let me introduce our guest here. As he mentioned, he's got the perfect face for radio. And he is also just a sweetheart and a gentleman among men who has starred in more TV shows, TV commercials, and movies than I can shake a stick at. And I'm going to tell a personal anecdote. When I first met you, I had this like sneaky suspicion. Like, I've seen this guy before. Where do I know this guy from? And I was like, oh, he's an actor. And then it dawned on me, oh, my God, you had that beautiful scene in Ed Wood, one of my favorite movies. Anybody ever heard of a director named Tim Burton? Anybody? Well, he made a movie with a guy, Johnny something. Starts with a D. I don't know. Help me out. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. Called Ed Wood, and a beautiful character actor by the name of Martin Landau, who, by the way, won the Academy Award for playing Bela Lugosi in that movie. And the other guy who made an impression on me that I never forgot was this guy, Charlie Holliday, who played a... How would you describe your character, Charlie?
I was like this tourist from Kansas who ran into Bela Lugosi on the street, and I saw a miracle, folks. I watched Martin Landau transform in front of my eyes into Bela Lugosi. I was supposed to be this awestruck tourist, and I was an awestruck actor watching this guy at work. It was absolutely amazing what he did, and what a sweetheart of a guy.
It was amazing what you did, too, by the way. So Charlie, the point I'm making is Charlie's been there, done that. He's worked with the top people in the world for so many years, and he has an instructional program called the Mosaic System. So if any of you are interested in doing acting as a career, you might do yourself a big favor by checking Charlie out. It's charlieactor.com. That's the website.
Yeah.
But what I thought we would do this morning, Charlie, is kind of talk to you a little bit, and then I'm going to go right up to 11 o'clock, and then we'll take a real quick break, and then we'll go a few more minutes just so anybody that needs to leave the room can. But what I thought I would do is just kind of interview you, if I could,
sure,
a little bit, and then maybe we can turn it out to your questions, and then let Charlie, do his thing. We normally call this thing the superhero casting call,
and I have no idea why.
Why? But you've been doing it beautifully every year, because what he does is he takes the participants and he puts them through a little exercise. I'm going to ask you to do that after 11 a.m. because it's probably not going to be good for these cameras, because it'll just be a bunch of bodies waving in front of the camera. But one of the things is improv. And so with these exercises, what I'm curious about is you always see these improv classes and you see people doing these wild, outlandish, crazy things. And I'm like, wait a minute, are they ever going to do that in a movie? And I don't know if they are or they aren't, but what is the point of improv?
It makes your brain work but gooder. It really does. It's the two skills. If you're going to work as an actor, you have two skills. You have to learn how to cold read. You have to learn to improvise, because those are how you get your jobs, especially commercials. I've done, I think, 36 national commercials, which is an actor's dream, by the way. And I've had lines in maybe 6 of those. The rest of it was all improv. And the auditions were all improv. You need to, first of all, stop censoring and learn to just go with your gut. Stop worrying about success or failure. I have a class that's been going for over 20 years, an improv class. And there's no success in the room and there's no failure. There's only doing. Not everything works. That's okay. How many of you ever watched Whose Line Is It Anyway? You understand that the show is edited?
Yes.
Not everything they do works, and they're the best ever. They really
best
are.
at it, best in the business.
Absolutely. But not everything works. So you have to be able to go and you try it. If it doesn't work, what do? You try something else. And what improv does is it speeds up over a course of time, it speeds your thinking process, because you get past the censors and you learn to just do it and then justify it. Mm-hmm. Okay? Television, not much improvisation, because you're on the clock. You have 44 minutes for that hour. All right, so there's, you stick to the script pretty much. But with movies, you sometimes improvise into a scene. You improvise out of a scene. Dustin Hoffman's I've worked with him. He loves to, he starts the scene way at standby. He starts the scene. And by the time he hears action or gets the signal, then he flows into the dialogue or into what's happening on the page. See, action doesn't mean act. It means start what's on the page. And he's very good at just leading you right into that, so that when you get into the scene, you already have emotional momentum.
That's a key point there, because for all the filmmakers in the crowd, I always wondered about that, because filmmaking is all this short start and stop, right?
Yeah.
And hurry up and wait
Yep.
so like you're going to have some big emotional scene, and they call you, your call time is whatever 10:30, and then the lights aren't working or whatever, so now you have to sit around and wait around till 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
Does improv help you with those kinds of things?
Well, again, improv just helps you to go with the flow. You learn to, because if I'm in a scene with Serena,
what's your name again, dear? Serena.
I don't know what she's going to say. It's just like when we're having a conversation. You think you know where it's going, but you don't actually know what's going to be said. So you adjust to what's being said to you. And it's the same thing if you're there's only one wrong thing that an actor can do, and that's to break character. If you stay in character, everything will work out. I direct and I produce, but sometimes the best shot I get all day is tell me your name again.
That's Alan.
Alan. I get this shot of Alan, and he has this look of pain and confusion on his face.
That's typical for Alan, by the way.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how he gets cast for those. But and it's gorgeous. I can use it, but his subtext is, what the hell is my line? I can't remember my freaking line. But I get this look that I can use. Because, see, my job as a movie director is not to get a perfect take. It's to get all the pieces that I need to make a perfect take.
So improv helps with that.
Yeah, it does, because it helps you to deal with the situation at hand, because that's what you have to do.
Now, how many actors in the room? Just raise your hand if you consider yourself an actor. Okay, we're not going to talk about you because there's not too many of you. But I was going to say what I was going to say is for the filmmaker, right? So these guys are in animation. We have some other filmmakers in the room. If there was, as it relates to, I like what you said about Dustin Hoffman and the way he works. As a director, and you want to elicit the best performance out of an actor.
Absolutely.
What are some of the cheats, the tricks, or the techniques, I should say, that are going to help you elicit that performance?
Well, I'll have to do my director's workshop. I taught directing at the Academy of Art University for several years, and I had 6 tools that I used. The problem that most younger, newer directors make is they try to direct us with adjectives, like get angrier. What the hell does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
What's your name again? Atlas. So I say, okay, and maybe Atlas is the kind of guy that the madder he gets, the quieter he gets. So we do the scene. I say, okay, that was good, Atlas, but I want you to get angrier.
Angrier, Atlas.
So what does he do? He gets quieter.
He gets even quieter.
No, I mean, I want you to get really angry. What does he do? He gets really quiet. No, I mean really, really angry. He shuts down. See, he thinks he's doing what I want. He's doing the exact opposite. I'm Irish. That is not angry.
My mother was Irish, and I'm going to tell you, that's not angry.
He's not yelling. He's not red in the face.
No.
His fists aren't clenched. How could he possibly be angry? So instead of doing that, I use an action verb or a playable task. Alice, what I want you to do is I want you to get in her face in this scene and make her want to leave the room. I mean, make her want to run and hide.
Alice looks like he's ready to do it now, Charlie.
No, that's something that an actor can do.
They've clearly worked together before.
Yeah.
So an action verb. I need you to do this.
Yep. Another thing is images. We work off of images. For example, Keely, I don't have to tell her, okay, I want you to get really upset and jealous. I want you to feel jealous and betrayed and all of this. Okay, well, what's her version of that? But I say, you're going through your husband's sock drawer, and you find a Polaroid of him and your best friend bumping uglies. I don't need to tell her to be outraged and upset. If she has that image in her mind, she just does it. and then it's real too. See, that's a great tool. You know, you have to sometimes explain what the scene's about. Sometimes people don't really know what the scene's about. You know, so that's another thing. But you know, there's 6 different tools. One is the mosaic system, which is the best rehearsal technique in the world. I teach that.
And again, for the actors here, you're on a set with a director that doesn't speak to you in actorese.
Yeah.
Right? He speaks to you in, I want you to get angrier kinds of. How are you dealing with that?
Well, then you have to try to figure out what they want. You know, and so you do something, and hopefully they'll give you an adjustment. I mean, the worst direction I ever got, I've been doing this for 50 years. I've done 60 movies and television shows, many plays, and the worst direction I ever got in my life was, Charlie, could you make it more maroon?
Wait, somebody said that to you?
Yes.
Maroon?
Make it more maroon.
What kind of a maroon said this?
I don't know. I thought, well, maybe it means morose.
Morose?
Maybe that. I'll try that. You know. Yeah,
Wow.
but yeah, that's the worst direction I ever got. You know?
Could you make it more maroon?
And you know the best direction I've ever gotten. I got it from Clint Eastwood. I got it from several good directors, Coppola, people like that. They say, "Show camera what you're going to do. Show camera what you want to do." And
so he can adjust the shot to what you want to do.
And then they make adjustments. Right. I did my favorite. One of my favorite things is the Christmas card. It's Hallmark's #1 movie, by the way, the Christmas card. And Steve Bridgewater is the director. And that's kind of what happened with him. I came in, I played a preacher in it, and came into the church, and he says, "Well, that's your space up there. What do you think you should do?" And I said, "Well, I think the first thing I should do is get out from behind this podium. This is a small church. I know everybody here. I've been to their houses. I married them. I buried them. I've done all of that. I don't want this thing between me and my people." Steve says, "Good call. We need to relight." Just like that.
That's I don't know. I think that would take a very self-assured director.
He is a self-assured director. A great guy. My audition for that, he put me through my paces. He just worked the bejesus out of me. And after the first take of the first scene that I was in, he called me aside and he says, "By the way, I had you pre-cast." He just did that.
Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about the first take of the movie, or are you talking about in the audition?
Of my scene. When we got on the set, I've got the job. I do the thing. He said, "I already had you cast." Because I'd worked with him on another project, so I knew the guy that wanted it. But he just did it just to mess with me.
Wow.
Yeah. Great guy. Good actor himself. Good teacher. But yeah.
So, Charlie, you've been doing this for a couple of years anyway. If there was one piece of advice that you could give to somebody who wants to become an actor for a living, and you're in the elevator and you got to go, and they said, "Oh, I heard you're Charlie Holliday. I heard you know something about this, but you don't have time." What are you going to tell them?
If there's anything else you can do and be happy, do that instead.
Okay, now this opens up a little can of worms here. Okay, so in other words,
there's always a however.
Okay.
If you have the defective gene that makes you want to be an actor, you just have to do it. You know, you will never be happy. You will never feel fulfilled. You will wonder your whole life. Be miserable if I didn't do it. If I didn't try it, I would have been miserable. You know, and I've had ups and downs. I'm lucky in that I'm blessed because I made a living as an actor. You know, I mean, in LA, the running thing is, you know, what do you do for a living? I'm an actor. Really? Which restaurant do you work at? But I didn't work at a restaurant. I was an actor. And I had good days and bad days and good years and bad years. And most of the time she never knew when the next paycheck was coming, you know. But she stuck with me, and she knew that I had to do that or I would have been a miserable sumbitch to live with, you know.
So go do something else. However,
if
you're going to do this,
just don't pay any attention to the dream stealers. You know, and those are your friends and your family, the people that love you the most. They're dream stealers.
Well, they want what's best for you.
Because they want what's best for you. They want to
Right.
protect you against yourself, and they don't understand you have the defective gene. See, God gives us X amount of, I don't know what the number is, but it's a finite amount of genes that God gives us. Okay.
Right.
However, being the prankster that he is, periodically he decides to give somebody a talent gene. And that's whether
Talent.
you're an actor or a writer or a director. That all takes talent.
Animator.
But, of course, in order to give you the talent gene, he has to take one away because you only get so many. And the one that he takes away is the logic gene.
Logic gene.
Who in their right mind is going to go into a business where you're unemployed 98% of the time? And most of the time when you're working, you're not really making that much money. I mean, you know, everybody thinks all actors are rich and famous. We have 165,000 members in SAG-AFTRA, and 80% of our membership makes less than $5,000 a year. 80%. Less than 5% make as much as $50,000 a year, and Marty's car costs more than that. Well, no.
I drive a Ford, so no.
But
your point
but
is
half
well
the
taken.
cars, and of that 20% that are actually making a living of some sort, almost all are at poverty level. You know, they're making 12, 14, 10,000
Here's your
bucks
pep
a
talk,
year.
kids.
You know? So you have to have another reason for doing it, and the reason is that I have a hole in my soul that only being in front of a camera or behind a camera or on a stage or in front of an audience, that's the only thing that fulfills me in my life.
So in the words of the immortal Captain James T. Kirk, you do it because you've got to, mister.
You've got to.
Just got to.
Indeed. Yeah, you do. You have to. You have to. You know, the guy that really developed the Mosaic acting system is a guy named Jeremy Whalen. And I have his liver. We use it as a doorstop, you know, because we cremated and he burned with a blue flame for 4 days. He drank a bit, but he was brilliant. He was a brilliant guy, and we had a wake for him here in Sacramento, which is where he died, and one back in New York. And I was back in New York, and I was talking to a friend of his, and she said, I went to his apartment one day, and Jeremy is sitting on a box, like a crate, with a typewriter on another crate in front of him, and he's typing. And they're hauling his furniture out of the apartment because he'd been evicted again. And they're stacking all this stuff in the street. And she said, you know, Jerry, maybe you should get a job for a while. He said, I can't. I have to do this.
That's right. Good way to put it.
That's commitment. And that's commitment. No matter what, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, and tell me. I mean, talk to this for a second because I mean, it's like I used to many moons ago. I ran a talent agency, and it was these folks out of Las Vegas that owned it, and they had me come in ostensibly to be the photographer. I ended up becoming the manager of it, and these moms and dads would bring their like little teenager, their little daughter or son, and they'd sit in my office and they'd go, do you think I have what it takes to make it? And, at that time, I'm like, I was like 25 years old. I'm like, I don't even know if I have what it takes. I mean, I don't know what it takes to make it. But you know what? What did occur to me was there was a story about Sylvester Stallone and about the Rocky movie. Anybody ever heard of Rocky? Creed? How about Creed? You know what Creed is?
Yep.
So Creed came from Rocky, and Rocky came from some palooka that had the temerity, some club fighter that had the temerity to fight Muhammad Ali and almost won, right? That's what the original story of Rocky was. But the point is that Stallone had the real Rocky story in that he had shopped this script all over Hollywood and kept getting doors slammed in his face. And he must have talked to everybody in Hollywood. The way he tells the story, over 100 people said no, 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 no. Finally somebody said, yes, we'll produce the movie. And then they had their terms. But what they wanted was they wanted to put like a star, some kind of a known star, some like a Paul Newman kind of a guy. We're talking about like 1976. So whoever was a big star at that time. And Stallone was like, yeah, no, it's got to be a guy that came from the streets of Philadelphia, right? Where's my Philadelphia contingent over there? She is. It's got to be a guy that's, from the neighborhood. Hey, forget about it. He's that guy. He eats cheesesteaks night and day. He's that guy. But what I'm saying is, if you think about it, think about Sylvester Stallone. He's not the most handsome knife in the drawer, we'll say. Mm-mm. And he'll be the first to tell you that. He's not a classic, he's not the Brad Pitt, good-looking, classic leading man that you would think of from a leading man. But what happened was it slowly dawned on him, no, I got to play this because nobody else in Hollywood knows this.
Nobody knows it like
and the people that you want to put in here, the movie's going to flop. Imagine if Paul Newman... That was really one of the names that they'd put out there. Imagine if Paul Newman had played Rocky. I don't think we'd be talking about... There'd certainly not been a Creed movie, that's for sure. There certainly wouldn't have been a Rocky V, which some people would argue is a good thing. but that's okay. But my point, I guess my question to you is at what point do you just take enough no's to where you're like, that's it, I quit. And I don't know about you, but I know that if I were Sylvester Stallone and I had this script, he said he got over 100 no's. And then when somebody did say yes, they said they want to put Paul Newman in the movie, and then he pulled it and said, I'm not going to do it because that's not going to be right for this script. And I'm like, dude, take the money and run, right? So at what point do you finally just go, I'm tired of having doors slammed in my face, maybe this isn't for me?
The unanswerable question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been there. And you do get 100 no's for every yes. But you have to learn, and this is one of the things I teach in my audition class, which, by the way, we'll be starting in about a week. It's how do you stand the rejection? People ask me that question. How do you stand the rejection? I say, I don't know. I've never been rejected. Sometimes I wasn't right for the role.
Charlie, hold that thought 1 second. Hey, Blaine, we got people coming in the room. Can you help me out? Help me out. Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Charlie.
But now you derailed my train of thought, which is on really narrow track. So
help me out. What was he talking about, friends?
No,
rejection.
About rejection. I said, it's not. You're not being rejected. You get and don't get roles for many different reasons, most of which have very little to do with your ability. I'm a partner in a production company, and we cast. I just got through casting a series. And you come in for the role because we think maybe you have the right look. But it turns out that you're too old, too young, too tall, too fat, too skinny, too black, too white. You remind the casting director of her ex-husband. Seriously. Those are all reasons why you don't get the job, not because you aren't a good actor. So what I try to teach my students is you go to an audition. How many actors are here? Why do you think you go to an audition? Anybody?
To show off what you can do.
That's part of it. Yeah, well, most of it is because you want the job, right? Of course you want the job. Everybody walks in the room wants a job. You go to build a relationship with the casting director or the director or whoever's in the room. It took me 25 years to get in front of Ellen Chenoweth. Ellen Chenoweth does $200 million movies and don't touch anything. She does all that Clooney stuff. She does everything. And it took me 25 years to get in front of her. Finally got an opportunity. Small role in a Clooney picture. I got in my car. I drove to L.A. so I could spend 5 minutes with that woman. Mm-hmm. And I went in, and when I sat down, I said, I've been trying for 25 years to do this. I don't care whether I get this job or not. I finally get to meet you. And we laughed. We had a nice little chat. I did a really good job on the audition. Didn't get the job. I was probably too old. I still act because most of the other actors my age are dead, so they get me. They don't have a lot of choice.
You weren't right for that role.
Yeah.
You weren't right for that role.
Wasn't right for that.
That
role.
That
one was not a corpse or anything, so I wasn't right. But about 4 months later, I get a call from my agent and said, Ellen wants to see you. There's a new Coen Brothers movie. And she wants.
Wait, did you say a new Coen Brothers movie?
Yep.
You guys know who the Coen Brothers is? All right, go on.
So again,
You've piqued my curiosity.
I do a lot of video auditions, but I hopped in the car. I'm not going to miss a chance to meet those guys or to see her again. Actually, went down, did the audition, got in my car. I was heading back for Sacramento, roaring along on the 405 at about 7 or 8 miles an hour.
Right. Yeah.
My phone rang. Said, "Hi, how'd the audition go?" And I said, "Well, it seemed like it went well. I done what I come for. I did what I intended to do, and I went in the room." Said, "Yeah, apparently she liked you because she said the Coen Brothers will be in town week after next, and she wants you to come back and read for them, so you can meet them." So I went back in a couple of weeks, and I had a nice chat and auditioned for the Coen Brothers and didn't get the role. But the Coen Brothers know who I am, and I made them laugh in the right place. Sometimes when you laugh not in the right place, that's not so good. But they laughed where they were supposed to. By the way, it was the Ballad of Buster Scruggs and Other Tales of the Frontier.
Oh, yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
And you remember the guy in the post
That was
office?
wild.
You remember the guy in the bank that gets held up?
Yeah.
With the pots and pans?
That was supposed to be you?
That was supposed to be. I loved that.
I would have liked it better if it was you.
That's one of the roles I really wanted because it was so damn funny.
Oh, man.
But again, I didn't get it. But Ellen called me back because she liked me the first time. The Coen Brothers who knows? They do a lot of great stuff.
By the way, that movie was produced last year.
Yeah.
So you talk about having a career that spans decades, and that's how to do it, by building those relationships.
Yep. That's it.
Wow.
All
right, listen.
And I'll tell you something else.
Yes.
You go in my purpose is to like this person and to make them like me and just to get to know them. It takes so much pressure off of you about getting the role.
I like that.
You got a 50-50 chance on the role. You're either going to get it or not. That's it. It's only two possibilities.
Well, and a lot of times you don't get it for any fault of your own.
Right.
It's not because you can't act. It's because you may not have met the physical requirements that they see in their mind, right?
Yep. And
that's usually what happens.
You look too much like the star, and they don't want the audience to be confused.
And that's a problem that I'm always having is confusing you with Brad Pitt, Charlie. It happens all the time to me. I'm like, is that? Oh no, that's Brad. They were separated at birth.
He's a little taller than I am.
Is that what it is?
That's what it
all
is.
Right. See, I thought the reverse. They have to put him on the apple crate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're a star when instead of putting you on an apple, they dig a trench for everybody else.
That's how you know. Folks, we have just a couple minutes left here, and then we got a break. You enjoying yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Holliday is yeah, you can applaud for that. Wealth of information. But don't do the big applause. Wait for about 5 minutes, and then we'll have a big thundering applause at the end here, all right? Because these guys are going to have to run and go see themselves on the big screen, the silver screen. Have you ever seen yourself in a movie before, kids? No? This will be the first time? Well, you're not even going to see yourself, but it's your work, yeah. I know that. Any questions for Charlie? I got about maybe time for a couple, so make them good. They're thinking, Charlie. They're thinking about a question.
I usually explain things so well that nobody...
Yeah, no, there's no need, dude. I mean, it's like you come away fulfilled from this thing. All right, well, so let me give you a last question in the way of just to kind of end this out. First of all, I want to say thank you because I got to tell you, I don't know a guy who's more giving with his time and supportive. We do a thing with our California Film Foundation for actors. It's called the Actors Initiative, and it's every third Saturday of the month. So if any of you are here that live in Sacramento, it's every third Saturday down at Carol's Books, 1913 Del Paso. That's Carol's Books. And Charlie comes, and a lot of the stuff I'm like, Charlie, you need to be charging for this. And he's got workshops, and but sometimes he really does come in there and just give away the farm, man. He just helps us out, and it's immeasurable the amount that I've gotten from it. And I don't even represent myself as an actor, but if I could just ask you, just kind of you want somebody to really know if it's right for them. How do you know if it's right for you, other than the fact that you went and had your genes tested at the 23andMe and you found out that you were defective?
Well, I'll tell you what, you don't learn to swim by walking around the pool dipping your toe in different places. You go down, you jump in the deep end. Just do it. You'll make it or not, and you'll find out pretty quickly, is this worth it? But you have to just do it. You can't learn to act by reading about it, by listening to me. You got to do it. You learn to act by acting.
Right.
And you learn out if it's going to be worth it. And if I never tell anybody you're never going to make it. I never tell anybody that because I don't know. Some of you, this guy's probably old enough to remember. I'm trying to remember his name.
Looks like a...
No, Mr. Peepers.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Peepers.
Mr.
Wally
Peepers.
Cox. Wally Cox.
Okay.
Up beside Wally Cox, Woody Allen looked buff. Okay. He was this little scrawny,
Maynard G. Krebs looked
little
buff.
scrawny, pasty-haired guy with big glasses and a thin voice. And he was told, you have absolutely no ability.
Aww.
Go be an accountant or something. You have no talent at all. You will never make a nickel in this business.
Aww.
The number one sitcom for most of the 50s was a show called Mr. Peepers, starring Wally Cox. He found out where he fit. And that's one of the things that you need to do. I know where I fit. And that's why I've always worked. I knew I wasn't going to be an action hero. I wasn't tall enough or good looking enough or athletic enough. I was always going to be the guy that lived next door to the guy, I was going to be the guy that ran the hardware store. I was her best friend or whatever. I knew that, and I was totally okay with that because I worked, folks, 60 different projects because I knew who I was. I knew what to audition for.
And now these guys know a little bit about who you are. Can we give it up one time, please, for Mr. Charlie Holliday?